The message came on a Tuesday, just an ordinary Tuesday in 2047, when most of humanity was going about their regular lives. In a small, crowded room at NASA's Deep Space Communications Center, Ellen Martinez stared at her monitor, not believing what she was seeing. "Sir, you need to look at this," she called to her supervisor, who was about to leave for the day. The signal repeated in perfect mathematical sequences, not random, not natural. It was artificial and clearly meant to be found. After 3 days of verification, the President of the United States was informed. Within a week, Commander John Miller of the U.S. Navy was pulled from his assignment and flown to Washington. John had never expected to be sitting in the Oval Office across from the President. He was a career military man with a talent for staying calm in tough situations. At 42, with his short brown hair just starting to gray at the temples, he looked exactly like what he was: reliable. "Commander Miller, we need someone to lead our first contact team," the President said. "Someone who won't panic if things go sideways." John nodded, though his mind was racing. First contact team. This had to be a joke. But it wasn't. The signal contained coordinates for a meeting point just beyond the moon's orbit. Humanity was about to meet aliens. Dr. Olivia Clark joined the team next. She had spent her life studying how language and math might work for non-human intelligence. With her quick mind and quicker tongue, she had decoded the mathematical patterns in the signal within hours of seeing it. "These equations aren't just saying hello," she explained to John as they prepared. "They're telling us they've been watching us for a long time. Centuries, maybe." The world governments worked together in secret to prepare the mission. They converted the International Space Station's new wing into a meeting space and sent John's team up on what the public thought was a routine mission. They waited for 3 days. Then it happened. The ship appeared suddenly, without warning. It was small compared to what most people expected from alien ships, about the size of a private jet. It docked with perfect precision. John stood at the airlock, Olivia beside him. His heart beat so hard he thought it might break his ribs. "Ready?" he asked. Olivia nodded, though her hands shook slightly. The airlock opened. Standing there were 3 beings. They looked almost human, except for their bluish skin and eyes that were too large and too dark. They wore simple gray suits that seemed to move with them like liquid. The one in front stepped forward. He was taller than the others. "I am Ambassador Kizoth of the Araxian people," he said in perfect English. "We speak for the Galactic Confederation." John managed to find his voice. "I'm Commander John Miller. This is Dr. Olivia Clark. We welcome you on behalf of Earth." Kizoth tilted his head. "You have done well to reach this point, humans. Our confederation includes over 300 species across this galaxy. We have been observing your development. Why contact us now?" Olivia asked. "Your quantum communication technology reached the threshold we monitor for. It is our standard protocol." Kizoth's face showed no emotion. "However, I must inform you that my visit is merely a courtesy. Earth will not be invited to join the Confederation at this time." John felt his stomach drop. "May I ask why?" "Your species is too unpredictable, too violent, too—" Kizoth paused, searching for the word. "Innovative in concerning ways. The Confederation requires stability." Olivia stepped forward. "With respect, Ambassador, shouldn't we have a chance to prove ourselves? The Council has made its decision." Kizoth's tone left no room for debate. "We will establish minimal diplomatic relations. You may send messages to our outpost in your system, which will be built near your Mars. But formal membership is denied." As the aliens returned to their ship, John and Olivia exchanged looks. They both knew what this meant. For the first time in history, all of humanity had a common purpose. Earth was not going to take no for an answer. News of the alien contact spread across Earth like wildfire. Protests filled the streets of major cities. Signs read, "We deserve a seat, and humans matter too." For the first time in history, All nations came together with a single goal. The United Nations held an emergency session that lasted 5 days. When it ended, they had formed the Human Space Initiative, or HSI. Its mission was simple: get humanity a place in the Galactic Confederation, no matter what. Lisa Reeves was not the obvious choice to lead Earth's diplomatic efforts. At 38, she had a reputation for breaking rules and speaking her mind. But she also had a gift for understanding what people, and perhaps aliens, truly wanted. "We need someone who thinks differently," the UN Secretary General said when appointing her. "The aliens already decided conventional diplomacy won't work." Lisa stood before the newly formed HSI Council, her red hair pulled back tightly, her green eyes scanning the room. "They expect us to follow their rules," she said, "to send messages to their outpost and wait patiently for crumbs of attention. I say we do something they don't expect. I say we show up at their front door." The room erupted in debate. Some thought her plan was too risky. Others worried it might lead to war. But in the end, they voted yes. Earth would send an uninvited delegation to the galactic hub at Alpha Centauri. Building a ship fast enough to get there was the next challenge. Earth's best scientists worked day and night, studying the limited data from the alien vessel. Engineer Paul Wright made the breakthrough. "Their drive doesn't just bend space," he explained to Lisa over cold coffee at 3 a.m. "It skips through it like a stone on water. And I think we can make it skip faster." Captain Sam Douglas was chosen to pilot the mission. He had flown everything from fighter jets to the first Mars shuttle. With his steady hands and steady nerves, he was the obvious choice. "You want me to fly an experimental ship based on technology we barely understand to a place we've never been?" he asked Lisa when she offered him the job. "Yes," she replied simply. Sam grinned. "When do we leave?" 6 months later, the U.S. frontier was ready. It didn't look impressive. A cylinder with rings around it that glowed blue when powered up. But inside was humanity's greatest achievement, a working faster-than-light drive. The crew was small: Lisa, Sam, Paul, and 12 others, with skills ranging from medicine to combat. Each was chosen for their ability to think on their feet. They would need to. The launch was done in secret. Only when the frontier was beyond the moon did Earth announce what they had done. By then, it was too late for the Confederation's Mars outpost to stop them. The journey took 23 days. 23 days of being squeezed through space in ways humans were never meant to experience. When they finally dropped out of FTL travel, they saw it, the galactic hub. It wasn't a space station as they had expected. It was a small moon, covered in structures that looked like a cross between skyscrapers and coral reefs. Ships of all shapes and sizes moved around it like bees around a hive. "Open a channel," Lisa ordered. "All frequencies." Sam looked at her. "We don't know their protocols. We could be breaking 100 rules just by being here." "That's the point," Lisa said. Her voice was steel. "They need to know that humanity won't be ignored." When the channel opened, Lisa spoke the words that would change everything. "This is Lisa Reeves representing Earth. We demand a seat at the galactic table. We will not leave until we are heard." Alarms immediately sounded throughout the hub. Dozens of ships turned toward the frontier. On the main screen, a face appeared. Not Kizov, but something with too many eyes and skin like bark. "Human vessel," it said, voice crackling with what might have been anger. "You have violated Confederation law. The High Council is outraged by your audacity." Lisa smiled. "Good. They're finally paying attention." 6 armed ships surrounded the frontier within minutes. Lisa stood her ground as she and Sam were escorted to the galactic hub. The halls were filled with creatures of all shapes and sizes. Some looked almost human. Others were so strange that Lisa's mind struggled to make sense of them. They were brought to a vast room with 12 raised seats arranged in a half-circle. This was the High Council of the Confederation. Each seat held a different alien species. In the center seat sat a tall, thin being with pale blue skin and 4 arms. "I am Supreme Counselor Zareth. It said, "Your presence here is unprecedented and unwelcome." Lisa stepped forward. "We came because you left us no choice. Earth deserves representation." A large creature covered in red scales hissed loudly. "The Vindari do not recognize these humans. They are too primitive, too aggressive." "Then put us on trial," Lisa said, the words coming to her suddenly. "Let us prove our worth." The council members looked at each other. Finally, Zareth spoke. "Very well. The human species will be tested. If you pass, we will consider your request. If you fail, your planet will be quarantined for the next 1,000 years." Kate Powell, the legal expert on the Frontier's crew, was brought to the hub to help Lisa. With her sharp mind and calming presence, Kate was the perfect partner for the fiery Lisa. "They're setting up 3 challenges," Kate explained after meeting with Confederation legal advisors. "Tests of our adaptability, ethics, and potential." The first challenge began immediately. Lisa and Kate were placed in a room with 7 different alien species, none of whom spoke English. They had 6 hours to form an alliance with at least 3 of them. "Watch their body language," Kate advised. "Some communication is universal." Lisa noticed one alien, a small creature with fur like moss, mimicking her hand movements. She focused on it, developing a simple sign language. Through this alien, she made contact with 2 others. By the end of the time limit, they had 4 allies. "Impressive," Zareth admitted. "Most species can barely manage 1 alliance in the time given." The second challenge was harder. They were shown recordings of Confederation species facing moral dilemmas and had to predict how each culture had resolved them. "It's not about what we would do," Kate realized. "It's about understanding how different values lead to different choices." They scored 8 out of 12 correct, just enough to pass. While the challenges continued, engineer Ryan Harris was secretly searching the hub's database. With his gift for computers, he hacked into restricted files. "Lisa, you need to see this," Ryan said through their secure comm link. "I found evidence that the Confederation has been manipulating Earth's development for centuries. They've been slowing us down, not helping us." Lisa was shocked, but kept this information to herself for now. It was a card to play at the right moment. The final challenge was the hardest. Lisa and Kate had to present humanity's potential contribution to the Confederation. What made humans worthy of a seat at the table? As they prepared their presentation, Lisa met Glor, a furry, 6-limbed being whose species had joined the Confederation only recently. "My people were also considered too unpredictable," Glor said in a whispered conversation. "We can help each other. The older species keep the best technology for themselves. They fear change." Lisa saw an opportunity. "Would you be willing to speak at our presentation?" The next day, Lisa stood before the council. Instead of listing human achievements, she revealed what Ryan had discovered. "You've been holding us back," she said. "Not just us, many species. You fear change so much that you strangle potential. But that ends now." Glor and representatives from 3 other newer Confederation species joined her. It was unprecedented. The council chambers erupted in chaos. "This trial is over," the Vindari representative growled. "The humans have failed." "No," Zareth said slowly. "They have simply changed the rules of the game, just as we feared they would." He looked at Lisa with new respect. "Perhaps that is exactly what the Confederation needs." Word spread quickly through the Galactic hub. The humans had challenged the Confederation's order. More importantly, they had exposed secrets many species had suspected, but none had dared to voice. Glor introduced Lisa to representatives from other marginalized species, the Duvan with their crystalline skin, the cloud-like mistwalkers, and the small but brilliant krill. All had stories of being kept in their place, given limited technology, and told to be grateful for their membership. "You've started something," Glor told Lisa as they walked through the lower levels of the hub. "Many are calling it a revolution." Lisa hadn't planned on becoming a revolutionary, but she saw the opportunity. The Confederation should be a true partnership, not a pyramid with a few species at the top. Meanwhile, Dr. Alan Scott, the Frontier's chief scientist, made a discovery while studying Confederation technology. The devices they were allowed to see were clearly simplified versions of what the older species used. "It's like they're giving us children's toys," he told Sam and Paul over a meal in their quarters. "Look at these power cells. They're deliberately made less efficient." Paul nodded. "I noticed that too. The FTL drive they let us see has governors built in to limit its speed." Sam leaned forward. "Can you remove them?" Paul grinned. "Already have. The Frontier can now outrun any ship in the hub if we need to." Back on Earth, nations worked together to prepare for whatever might come. Defense systems were upgraded. New ships were built using the data the Frontier team sent back. Humanity wasn't taking any chances. Captain Sam Douglas led a small team on a secret mission. Using access codes Galore provided, they entered the restricted archives of the Confederation Library. "We need proof," Lisa had told them. "Something we can show to all species, not just claims from newcomers like us." The archives were vast, data stretching back millions of years. But Sam's team included Zoe Williams, a historian with a talent for finding patterns. She quickly located files labeled Species Development Protocols. These files detail how the Confederation has been manipulating developing planets, Zoe reported back. Not just Earth, hundreds of worlds. They'd identify promising species, then slow their development or guide it in ways that make them dependent on Confederation technology. The evidence was shocking. The oldest species, the Vindari, the Araxians, and 3 others, had been doing this for thousands of years. They kept the best technology for themselves while giving lesser versions to others. Lisa knew this information was powerful but dangerous. The Council would do anything to keep it secret. That night, she met with representatives from 28 species. In a large, dimly lit room deep in the hub, she shared what they had found. "We've all been held back," she said, "but together, we can change this system." A Dovan named Shorel stood up. "The older species are too powerful. They control the fleets, the weapons. But they depend on us," said Krill leader Pip. "Who mines the resources they need? Who staffs their ships? Who builds their cities?" Lisa saw hope spread through the room. "Humanity is willing to share what we know with all of you. No restrictions, no holding back. In return, we ask for the same." This was unprecedented. Species did not share technology freely in the Confederation. Everything was controlled, measured, approved by the Council. One by one, representatives agreed. The Free Species Coalition was born that night. The next morning, the High Council summoned Lisa. All 12 members looked grave. "We know of your meeting," Zareth said. "This coalition you are forming violates numerous Confederation laws." The Vindari representative hissed again. "The humans are a dangerous contaminant. They must be contained before they spread their chaos further. We cannot allow this disorder," Zareth continued. "The human delegation is hereby ordered to leave the hub. Your species will be isolated until you learn proper respect for our ways." Lisa stood tall. "With all due respect, Counselor, we will not be leaving. And we will not be silenced. The age of secrets is over." Lisa knew her defiance would have consequences. She didn't expect them to come from Galore. That night, as the human delegation slept in their quarters, Lisa woke to flashing red lights and alarms. She jumped from her bed to find Galore standing in her room, holding a strange weapon. "I'm sorry, Lisa," Galore said, fur rippling with what seemed like sadness. "You were never meant to get this far." Armed guards burst in, all Vindari. Their red scales gleamed in the emergency lights as they surrounded the humans' quarters. "What are you doing?" Lisa asked, her mind racing to understand the betrayal. "The Vindari have controlled my people for generations," Galore explained. "They promised us true freedom if I helped trap you. I had no choice." Sam tried to fight back, but was quickly overpowered. Within minutes, the entire human delegation was captured. "You helped us," Lisa said as they were marched through empty corridors. You gave us information. Why the change now? Glor wouldn't meet her eyes. I gave you just enough to expose yourselves. The council needed to know which species would join your coalition. The humans were split up and placed in separate cells. Lissa paced hers, trying to think of a way out. Then she remembered the emergency beacon Paul had built into her bracelet. If she activated it, the frontier would broadcast a message back to Earth. She pressed the hidden switch just before the guards took all her possessions. In her cell, Dr. Olivia Clark was not idle. She had been studying ancient Confederation texts since their arrival. The guards hadn't thought to take the data pad they assumed she couldn't read. There's a prophecy, she whispered to Lisa when they were briefly brought together for questioning, about a species that would reforge the stars and break the chains of the ancient ones. I think it's about us, Lisa. Lisa had little time to consider this before the Vindari commander arrived. Your coalition is being dismantled, he told her with obvious pleasure. All species involved are being punished. Your actions have hurt the very people you claim to help. Back on Earth, the emergency signal arrived. The message was clear: betrayed. Prepare defenses. World leaders acted quickly. The new ships were deployed around Earth. Every available resource went into building more advanced weapons based on the technology the frontier had sent back. In the depths of the hub, something unexpected happened. A young guard named Cree from a species called the Novan took pity on Kate Powell. Many of us believe in what you're trying to do, he whispered as he brought her food. The older species have ruled too long. Kate saw an opportunity. Can you get a message to the other coalition members? Cree nodded. Some are already working to free you. Not all guards are loyal to the council. Over the next few days, mysterious malfunctions occurred throughout the detention area. Security cameras failed. Doors opened when they shouldn't. The humans noticed but said nothing. Then came the most surprising development of all. As Lisa sat in her cell, the air in front of her seemed to ripple. A figure appeared, seemingly from nowhere. It was tall and slender with skin that shifted colors like an oil slick and eyes that seemed to see everything at once. I am Vesh of the Quaran, the being said in a voice that felt like it was coming from inside Lisa's own mind. We have watched these events with great interest. Lisa struggled to find her voice. The Quaran. I haven't heard of your species. Few have. We withdrew from Confederation politics long ago. The Vindari and others believe themselves to be the oldest species. They are not. Why show yourself now? Lisa asked. Because the prophecy your linguist discovered is true. We wrote it millennia ago. We foresaw the coming of a species that would change everything. Vesh's eyes seemed to look through Lisa. We have been waiting for you. Before Lisa could ask more questions, Vesh touched her cell door. It simply dissolved. Your friends are being freed as we speak, Vesh said. The true revolution begins now. The escape happened quickly. Vesh led Lisa through corridors that seemed to bend around them, hiding them from view. Soon they met up with the rest of the human delegation and several other alien allies. The Vindari are searching everywhere, said Cree, the Novan guard who had helped Kate. We don't have much time. Sam pointed to a nearby hangar. The frontier is there, but it's heavily guarded. Vesh's skin rippled with colors. You will not need your ship yet. We have a safer place. They followed the Quaran through what appeared to be solid walls into parts of the hub that weren't on any map. After an hour of walking through these hidden passages, they emerged into a vast chamber. Representatives from all 28 coalition species were waiting there. Welcome to the true heart of the hub, Vesh said. The founders built this place long before the Confederation existed. The older species don't know about it. Lisa looked around in wonder. The room was filled with technology unlike anything she had seen in the rest of the hub. It felt older but somehow more advanced. We need to organize, she told the gathered aliens. The council will be hunting all of us now. A Dovan named Shuril stepped forward. We have already begun. Several of our worlds have declared independence from the Confederation, And we've established a base in the neutral zone, added Pip, the tiny krill leader, a place where we can work together without Confederation interference. Lisa nodded. Then we need to formalize our alliance. No more hiding, no more secret meetings. We are the Free Species Coalition, and we stand for equality and shared progress. Over the next few days, the coalition took shape. Engineer Paul Wright worked with scientists from a dozen species, combining human innovation with alien science. Our technology and yours complement each other, he told a group of mistwalkers. Where we focused on digital systems, you mastered biological computing. Together, we can build something new. The human approach to technology surprised their new allies. Most Confederation species were taught to follow established patterns. Humans constantly asked, what if, and why not questions that led to unexpected breakthroughs. News from Earth arrived through secure channels. The planet was preparing for possible conflict. Nations that had been enemies for centuries now worked side by side. Humanity had united like never before. Captain Sam Douglas prepared a small fleet of ships to visit coalition worlds, strengthening their alliance. Before leaving, he spoke with Vesh. Why did you help us? He asked the enigmatic Quarren. What do you get out of this? Vesh's color-shifting skin settled into a calm blue. My species ruled the galaxy once, long ago. We grew complacent, stagnant. When we saw the damage we were doing to younger species, we chose to step back. The Vindari and others filled the power vacuum, creating an even worse system. So this is about guilt? Sam asked. No, it's about hope. We've watched thousands of species rise. Humans are different. You question everything. You break rules and rebuild them better. The galaxy needs that spirit again. On the 6th day after their escape, the coalition received troubling news. The Vindari fleet had launched from the hub, heading toward Earth. They planned to make an example of humanity. At the same time, the coalition discovered one of their own was missing. Lisa's assistant, Ben Foster, had disappeared without a trace. Lisa organized a search, fearing another betrayal. They found Ben in a restricted area, communicating with someone using technology even Vesh didn't recognize. When confronted, Ben smiled. His form shimmered and changed. His human features melted away, revealing a being similar to Vesh, but older, with eyes that held ancient wisdom. I am Tren, elder of the Quarren, he said. I've been watching you, Lisa Reeves. We needed to be sure you were worthy of our help. You've been spying on us, Lisa asked, anger in her voice. Observing, Tren corrected. And I've seen enough. The Vindari must be stopped, and the Confederation must change. It is time for the Quarren to return to galactic affairs. His eyes met Lisa's. Together, we will reforge the stars. The Vindari fleet was 3 days from Earth when the coalition made their move. 50 ships from 20 different species gathered at the edge of the Alpha Centauri system. It wasn't much compared to the Confederation's forces, but it was all they had. Lisa stood on the bridge of the frontier, which now served as the coalition's command ship. Sam sat at the controls, his face calm despite the odds against them. Are you sure about this plan? Sam asked Lisa as they prepared to jump to Earth. Lisa nodded. Dr. Scott's weapon is our best chance. We can't outgun them, but we might be able to outsmart them. Dr. Alan Scott had been working day and night with alien scientists to develop a non-lethal weapon. It was based on a discovery he had made while studying Confederation technology. Their ships all used the same communication system, he had explained to Lisa. If we can send the right signal, we can temporarily disable their controls without harming anyone. It was a risky plan. The weapon had never been tested at full scale, but it was better than allowing the Vindari to reach Earth. The Coalition fleet jumped into space near Earth's moon. They found the Vindari already there, their ships in formation for an attack. Earth's defenses looked small and fragile in comparison. They're hailing us, said Zoe Williams, who now served as communications officer. The face of the Vindari commander filled the screen. His red scales seemed to glow with anger. "This is your final chance to surrender," he hissed. "The Confederation has declared your coalition illegal. All members will face punishment." Lisa stepped forward. "We're not here to surrender. We're here to talk. This conflict can end without bloodshed." The Vindari commander laughed. "Talking is over. The Council has made its decision." As he spoke, several Confederation ships broke formation and moved to surround the coalition fleet. But something strange happened. 3 of those ships suddenly changed course, placing themselves between the Vindari and Earth. "What is the meaning of this?" the Vindari commander demanded. A new face appeared on the screen. An Araxian captain. "Not all of the Confederation agrees with this attack. Many of us believe the humans and their allies deserve to be heard." More ships changed positions. The Confederation fleet was splitting apart as captains chose sides. The Vindari commander roared in fury. "Traitors, you will all pay for this." He ordered his remaining loyal ships to attack. As weapons powered up, Lisa gave the signal. "Now, Dr. Scott." Scott activated his device. A pulse of energy swept across space. On nearly half the Confederation ships, control systems suddenly went dark. They drifted helplessly, weapons offline. But the pulse didn't affect all of them. Several Vindari vessels still had full power, and they opened fire on the coalition. The battle was chaos. Ships from both sides took damage. Earth's defenses joined the fight, their weapons more effective than the Vindari had expected. In the middle of the battle, a new ship appeared. It was unlike anything anyone had seen before, sleek and impossibly fast, glowing with energy that seemed to bend light around it. "The Quarren have entered the battle," Tren announced, his eyes fixed on the newcomer. The Quarren ship moved between the fighting fleets. It released a wave of energy that disabled weapons on both sides. A voice echoed through every ship, every communication system. "This ends now." Suddenly, dozens more Quarren ships appeared, surrounding everyone. It was a show of force that left no doubt who truly held the power in this galaxy. On the Frontier's bridge, Lisa watched in awe as the fighting stopped. No one dared continue with the Quarren present. "The High Council will meet us," Tren told her. "For the first time in 10,000 years, the Quarren will take their seat again. And humanity will be there too." Sam looked at Lisa. "Is this what you wanted when you demanded a seat at the table?" Lisa smiled. "No, this is better. We're not just getting a seat. We're building a new table." 1 month after the battle near Earth, the galaxy had changed forever. The High Council chamber in the Galactic Hub had been rebuilt. Instead of 12 seats arranged in a hierarchy, there was now a round table with 30 seats of equal height. Lisa Reeves stood in the center of that chamber, facing representatives from across the galaxy. Some faces were friendly, others cautious, a few openly hostile. The Vindari delegation sat stiffly, their scales dull with suppressed rage. "The vote will now begin," announced Tren. The Quarren Elder presided over this historic session. Will the new galactic charter be ratified? One by one, species voted. The charter had been written over weeks of difficult negotiations. It guaranteed equal rights for all member species. It banned the suppression of technology. Most importantly, it created a system where no single group could dominate others. When the final vote was counted, the result was clear: 25 in favor, 5 against. The new order had begun. "As our first act under the new charter," Tren said, "we must elect a council speaker." To Lisa's surprise, multiple delegations nominated her. The Krill, the Dovin, even the Araxians who had once denied humanity a seat at the table. "I nominate Lisa Reeves of Earth," said Kizoth, the Araxian who had first visited Earth. "She has shown us that questioning old ways leads to better ones." The vote was even more lopsided than the charter ratification. Lisa Reeves became the first speaker of the new Galactic Council. As the session ended, Lisa walked through the hub with John Miller, who had joined the delegation from Earth. He had aged in the months since first contact, his hair now more gray than brown. "Did you ever imagine this?" he asked her as they looked out at the ships coming and going. "When we first met the aliens, did you think we'd end up here?" Lisa smiled. "Never. I just wanted humanity to have a fair chance. And now we're changing how the entire galaxy works." John shook his head in wonder. On Earth, the changes were just as dramatic. The knowledge restrictions had been lifted. Species from across the galaxy shared their science and culture freely. Diseases that had plagued humanity for centuries were cured. Clean energy replaced fossil fuels. Hunger became a thing of the past. But the greatest change was in how humans saw themselves. No longer alone in the universe, they had found their place, not as rulers or subjects, but as partners in something greater. In the aftermath of the confrontation, Galore had been granted amnesty in exchange for helping rebuild relations with the species who had supported the old order. The former betrayer now worked tirelessly to heal the divisions. "The Vindari controlled my people through fear," Galore explained to Lisa during a quiet meeting. "I'm trying to show them there's another way to live." Lisa nodded. Fear or hope? That's the choice we all face. The frontier, now upgraded with technology from multiple species, prepared for a new mission. It would lead an exploration fleet beyond the edges of known space. Sam Douglas would command, with Paul Wright and Dr. Scott leading a mixed crew of humans and aliens. "There's so much more to discover," Sam told Lisa before departing. "And this time, we're going together." On the eve of the Frontier's departure, Lisa stood with Tren in the observatory atop the hub. Below them, representatives from hundreds of worlds mingled freely in what had once been restricted space. The prophecy said humanity would reforge the stars. Lisa mused. Is this what it meant? Tren's skin shifted in patterns that Lisa had learned meant thoughtfulness. Prophecies are tricky things. They tell us what might happen, not how or why. Then why did the Quarren write it? Because we saw humanity's potential long ago. Not to conquer or rule, but to question and improve. Your species never accepts, because that's how it's always been done, as an answer. Lisa watched as a group of human children played with young Krill and Dovin in a new school established in the hub. So what happens next? Tren made the Quarren equivalent of a smile. That's the wonderful thing about humanity. No one knows. You keep surprising us. And that perhaps was humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy. The reminder that the future is never fixed, that better ways are always possible, and that together they could reach heights none could achieve alone.